Okay, people, welcome back. I got crap all over the place. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh 5 here on Megalopolis. This is where I turn the lights down low and we just talk about wish lists all night long, baby. And for today's Fwoosh 5, dang it, I think I've covered this subject before, but I've got to go back to it. Right now with the Scoob movie hitting and all these toys being out, I can't help it. My brain is in the animated realm. Now, I haven't seen the Scoob movie. I can't get over Shaggy's voice. Damn it. They should have stuck with Matthew. But that doesn't stop me from reminiscing. Back to childhood. I may be a little bit older than some of you, but cartoons from when I was a kid. There's nothing better. But the little twist today is going to be Mezco in the 1/12 Collective line. I like a bunch of their figures, but I always go back to Popeye. And that had to have done well for him because they came out with another Popeye, and we're still waiting on the 2-pack with Bluto and Popeye. It seems like there's an audience there. There's a customer base that could just be buying the hell out of those things, and so we're going to wish list that. And we're going to go one even further and stick to Hanna-Barbera cartoons from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 60s, wherever. I think I remember seeing at some point Mezco having a placard saying Hanna-Barbera, and then they came out with, well, there's Space Ghost. I'm not going to get into all the licensing, all the lawyer stuff. All I'm here to do is, oh, I'd like that cartoon in action figure form. So for number 5 on the Hanna-Barbera cartoons I'd like to see in the Mezco 1/12 Collective line would be, this one's getting way out there, I'd like to see Herculoids. And I say way out there because while this is a wish list and I can say whatever the hell I want, part of me still says I want the whole family, and Mezco being Mezco, it would take a while to get all those characters out. Not to even mention the unique sculpts for some of the animals and creatures. Sure, for Xandor and Terra and Zorno, it's just a human body with a pretty bare, some clothing, which strays out of Mezco's usual wheelhouse, but seeing their Conan the Barbarian being mostly naked, it gives me hope for more action figures like that. Those 3 main characters, fairly simple, fairly easy. It's when we get to the rest of the cast that, may monkey wrench this wish list item. There's Zoc, there's Igu, Tundro, Gloop, Gleep. These are all odd-shaped characters. And while the release of Black Bolt and Lockjaw gives me a lot of hope in that arena, I don't know how many times they'll do that. Plus at 1/12 scale, there's a big rhino, there's a big dragon, there's a big gorilla, then there's the 2, how do you articulate 2 globs of Gloop and Gleep? Not to even mention going one further and having them shoot the little pellet things out. That would be amazing, but I've always regretted missing out on the Toonami stuff back in the early 2000s, whenever those released, and I want some modern toy company to give us modern versions of those characters. That's my dream. This would be number 1, but reality makes me slap it up to number 5, and that's the Herculoids. Number 4, you're going to raise an eyebrow, you're going to kind of wonder what the hell I'm talking about, but it makes sense in my brain. For number 4, I'd like to see Super Friends. I know, Mezco already has the DC line, they already make DC figures, but they Mezco-fy them, they add extra little details, they fancy them up a little bit, and they're making plenty of Batmans. But my dream line would be those old designs covered in cloth, just the same body used over and over and over and over. Simplify the costume down. It doesn't even have to be raised boots. It could look just like the cartoon. Unique head sculpts, classic design. There's the fear that it would cross into 1/12 scale Mego looks, but at the same time, just imagine those all lined up on the shelf. I know a lot of people were burned by the DC Universe Classic Super Friends figures, but and those look perfectly fine in a display too, but there's just something about a Mezco figure that, I don't know, it'd be cool. Hell, Wendy and Marvin and Wonder Dog, give us those, and those could be used in one of my other picks on down the line too. So number 4, as odd a choice as it is, I'm going Super Friends. For number 3, we're going to get back into kind of the realm of reality, and I'm surprised we haven't seen this yet. After seeing Space Ghost and after seeing Popeye, I want a 1/12 scale cloth-covered Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt. Okay, so no cloth on Dino Mutt. Just make him like Lockjaw, which is a lot less plastic. Make him a pack-in with Blue Falcon, all cloth costume, head coming up and around. It feels like an easy release. And I say that not knowing all the legalities and the sculpting behind the scenes, and maybe they think Blue Falcon isn't well known enough, even though, is it the sun that appears in the Scoob movie? So there's a little bit more exposure there. Hell, there's a Blue Falcon on the shelf, or on the peg right now at Walmart. Either way, Blue Falcon, Dino-Mutt will go fantastically with Space Ghost. And even though he's not on the list, I'd like to see Birdman too. I mean, that's a kick-ass display right there. Short, sweet, to the point, number 3, Blue Falcon and Dino-Mutt. I kind of thought it would be at number 1, but it's at number 2, and that's the ScoobyDoo gang. Just imagine these characters in 1/12 Collective aesthetics. I mean, yes, you would need unique body sculpts for each one, especially Shaggy. He's tall, he's thin, and Fred is thicker, a little bit shorter. You have the dog, you have Velma, you have Daphne. But make them fairly simple and put the cloth over them, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind keeping to the cartoon aesthetics. They don't need muscles, they don't need any detail. It would just be the base plastic, the head, the clothes, and again, all the complications behind the scenes that would cause at the same time. Wish list. Plus, who doesn't want a super articulated Scooby-Doo? I mean, we've gotten some fairly good ones over the past few years, whatever that company is that puts them out at Walmart, and now the new company, whoever that is, putting them out at Walmart. They look okay, but I want a Scooby-Doo that, it can stay cartoony, but I wouldn't mind putting it, with my MCU or my DC figures or my Masters, mix and match. They're doing the 5-point line, which is fine, which is very, very tempting, but I want bigger figures. I want articulated figures, and get the gang done and then start on the Ghost. Could you imagine, Mezco bad guys with removable heads so you can see the old men underneath? I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. I feel like with Scooby-Doo property, there is a longevity there. They could just keep going and going and going, but at the same time, because of unique sculpts, less reuse, I don't know how financially viable that is. Number 2, Scooby-Doo. And I didn't even realize that rhymed until I just said that. And number 1, you've heard me talk about this one before if you listen to any of my other podcasts, but I gotta go with Thundarr the Barbarian. Especially after seeing Mezco's Conan the Barbarian. It's just it's a no-brainer. People love barbarians. And this, with the mix of Star Wars elements, and it's in the future, but it's dystopian, and here's a barbarian, and here's a big monstrous sidekick, and then the princess. It's got all the beats that we love in a little simple cartoon. I say simple, but because it was a cartoon. But there was a lot of stuff going on there. Now, there's 2 directions they could go here. They could go the Conan the Barbarian route, reuse that body for Thundarr and make it very realistic, put a fur cover over the top. For Ookla, make a bigger body, make it all new sculpt. Of course, it's going to be unique. And then Princess Ariel, very detailed, a new body sculpt, and just make the whole thing like, oh, there's Thundarr the Barbarian in real life. That's kind of cool. But they could also go for a simple body, make it cartoon style, give Thundarr just a plain body, put the fur over the top. Ookla could have a full cloth bodysuit, making him look cartoony, because basically it's cartoons. It wasn't really defined. They were just big, bulky, but not really muscular. And then the same for Ariel, just a female body, put the suit over it, new heads for all 3. Well, Ookla would need hands and feet too, wouldn't he? But either way they wanted to go with this, and I'm talking like, hey, Mezco, I know you're doing it. How about some ideas? We have to work out the logistics here, and we have to budget, and then release dates, and how would they come out? Because they would start with Thundarr, right? Oh no, a more surprising one would be, here's Ookla, and then they're sure to make Thundarr down the line, and then you always have to worry about the female getting made. But you start with Ookla, and it's like, oh, there's one already down. Plus, it's a big monster body that you could use anywhere. Yes, I get a little excited about cartoons being made into action figures. I don't see them making a lot of the enemies here, because when you think of Thundarr the Barbarian, you think of the 3 main characters. I mean, without even looking right now, just picture the bad guys in your brain. Yeah, I know. You picture Thundarr and Ookla, bigger, Ariel, smaller. They're riding the horses, you need the sun sword. That's it. Oh man, horses. That would be awesome. Either way, Thundarr the Barbarian. Now, Mezco, you can take any of these ideas you want. I wouldn't be mad. Now, I'm not talking legalities. I'm sure somebody could dig up some reason that they can't do this. Maybe they can't do Super Friends because McFarlane has the DC license, but there may be a loophole because it's cloth goods and the price itself. Or maybe Blue Falcon's owned by somebody else now, or something. I don't know. I'm not thinking like that. I'm only thinking cartoons and toys. And in this case, it's Hanna-Barbera properties or cartoons from back in the day in the Mezco 1/12 collective style. And sure, they'd be $80 a piece, which is a deal breaker for some people. I understand that. But man, they would just look bad. I'm thinking mostly of the ScoobyDoo crew. Real clothing, the way Shaggy's shirt drapes on him, or the dresses on the girls, I mean, that would look fantastic. And then could you imagine carrying around a Thundarr? It'd be like this, or hell, even worse, or better. Think of the display of a Herculoids all in scale together. Ooh, that would be more than a shelf. But that's where I'm ending it right there. Just dreams and wish lists and new toys and other properties, and I need to buy more stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that Fwoosh 5. I'm already thinking of the next one because a day doesn't go by where you don't wish list action figures that you want. But you can catch that here on Megalopolis.